Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and this is the waiver wire video for week 5. This is the video where I tell you guys which players you should consider adding to your team to help you secure the win this week. Now guys, hopefully you've been doing pretty decently so far if you've been following my videos and adding the players from these videos that I've been suggesting. You should be doing all right with your fantasy teams. If not, guys, keep watching these videos and I'm going to keep doing my absolute best to tell you guys what are the best players to be adding for these coming weeks. Before we get into it, guys, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Still, a lot of you guys, more than half of you guys that watch this channel are not subscribed, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. It would support me a lot and really would help. Now, if you do want to take your support to the next level, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Definitely check that out. There are some nice perks, such as a DM one-on-one messages with me. Whenever you have a question, you can directly ask me through the Patreon app, and I'll try to respond the same day. All right, let's jump into it now, and we'll take a look at the week 5 schedule, guys. And on Monday, there are 4 games only. On Tuesday, there are 10. Wednesday, 3. Thursday, 11. Friday, 6. Saturday, 12. And Sunday 5. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, as usual, are pretty busy nights, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday are the off nights. Now look at your lineup, guys, because in my personal lineups in a lot of my leagues, I'm able to fit players on pretty much every single day this week. But I definitely have friends that have no room in their lineup on the busy night. So definitely make sure to take a look at that before you start prioritizing off-night players this week, because the quality of off-night players this week isn't really that high. That's because the Florida Panthers are the best schedule this week, with Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday all night. They play on all 4 off nights, which is amazing. Just not that many amazing Panthers waiver options out there. And then Toronto's the next best off night team with off nights Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which is also really, really good. Now the teams with the worst schedule, meaning they only play 2 games, Chicago, New Jersey, and Vegas. But Vegas, their 2 games are both on off nights, so I actually don't hate Vegas' schedule at all this week. With Wednesday and Friday games, definitely could do a lot worse than that. But Chicago and New Jersey definitely have the worst schedules this week with only 2 games apiece. All right, let's jump into the forwards that you can consider adding for this week. And the first guy on this list is Mason McTavish, up to 67% rostered. This guy has been exploding in rostered percentage because, well, that line that he's on with Ryan Strome and with Frank Vatrano is absolutely on fire. Until that line calms down, these guys need to be added in all league formats. If somehow he's still floating around on the waiver wire for you, you need to be adding Mason McTavish now. I'm not expecting this level of production forever, but as long as these guys are as hot as they are, they need to be owned in all leagues. Evan Rodriguez of the Florida Panthers is the #1 off-night guy to be adding if he is somehow available in your league. Evan Rodriguez has been really, really good all year long, playing on the top line and top power play, and this week gets all 4 off nights. This is an absolute must-add for you if you need off nights this week, and he's available in your league. Josh Norris has been playing pretty well, but for some reason has lost a couple of rostered percentage. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. He's doing pretty good, getting top line and top power play time in Ottawa. I'm not worried about Josh Norris at all, and I think he's a very good add. William Karlsson now is up to 47% rostered, and he is on like a crazy point streak right now. He doesn't seem to be slowing down at all, and Vegas does have those Wednesday and Friday off nights, so the only games that Vegas does play this week. So if you can wait until Tuesday or Wednesday to pick up Karlsson and then stream him for those 2 games, if that's all you need from Karlsson, that's great. If not, he's someone that you can hang on to as well with how good he's playing right now. Pavel Zacha also at 47% is playing very, very well right now. Top power play and top line with Pasternak. And he's finally starting to catch fire a little bit. And that's definitely something you like to see. And on a very good team like the Bruins, it's a very good ad. Then we have Tyler Bertuzzi of the Toronto Maple Leafs, 39% rostered. And like I said, guys, the off-night players that you can be adding this week are not that good. But Tyler Bertuzzi is playing with John Tavares and William Nylander, so it's hard to say that he's a bad pickup. He just hasn't produced that much this year, but with that deployment, he can explode at any time. So if you do need an off-night player, Bertuzzi is still a pretty decent add if he's available. Next is my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Ryan Strome. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIP. I can promise you guys that you've never seen a ball trimmer look like a spaceship. Get yours today from our folks at Manscaped. Now, why is Ryan Strome my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, he's only up to 39% rostered. He could be a lot higher, but he did miss a game because he was sick. But that line right now, guys, is absolutely on fire. Alongside Mason McTavish and Frank Vatrano, these guys have been putting up like insane amounts of points. And until these guys cool down, I recommend adding them in pretty much all league formats. Now, obviously, I didn't expect to come out this season and have Ryan Strome really as an option in any of these videos based on how bad he was last year. I especially didn't expect to have him as my Manscaped must-add player of the video, but here we are. He is doing really, really well and needs to be added in all league formats. Then I have Dylan Strome of the Washington Capitals. Now, he is only a center, and that's obviously not completely ideal, but Washington actually does play the Wednesday, Friday off-night games this week. Yes, I had both Strome brothers back-to-back, which is kind of funny, but they're both pretty viable right now. Ryan Johansson of the Colorado Avalanche at 31% roster is also viable right now, playing second line and top power play in Colorado. That is pretty valuable. They do play on the pretty busy nights this week, but if you have room, doesn't hurt to add him, that's for sure. Matt Duchene of the Dallas Stars has very quietly and very sneakily gotten a 5-game point streak together. He's playing on a line right now with Mason Marchment and Tyler Seguin, and that line right now seems to be rolling a little bit. So it's a little bit of a sneaky ad. I don't see many people adding Matt Duchene right now, but if you need someone who's on a little bit of a streak, you need a point really bad, a point or two, Matt Duchene is a pretty good ad right now. I think he can have himself a sneakily good season this year. Then I have Sean Monahan, and he's a top 50 player in a lot of leagues. He's been scoring a lot of goals and has been Montreal's best player other than maybe Cole Caulfield, but even then, Monahan has been better lately. With 22% rostered, this dude needs to be rostered in a lot more league formats. He's playing on the top power play in Montreal, and he's getting consistent points. Add him now before it's too late. And Montreal does play 4 games next week, so if you can fit him in your lineup next week, it might be worth adding him. Then I have Oliver Bjorkstrand and a couple spots lower, Jaden Schwartz of the Seattle Kraken. Both these guys have been Seattle's best players so far this season. They're the only ones actually putting up points, and funny enough, they're not playing on the same line. Bjorkstrand's playing on the top line, Schwartz is playing on the second line, and they're not even playing on the same power play, but they're both managing to put up points fairly consistently. I'm not really expecting this to continue all season long, at least not for Schwartz. Bjorkstrand's a little bit more possible in my mind. But as of right now, they definitely should be owning more than 15% of leagues. That is for sure. Then Lawson Krause of the Arizona Coyotes is actually really, really hot right now. He's coming off a 2-goal game and a 1-goal game playing on the second line with Matias Maccelli and Bjugstad. It's a great place for him to be, and he is producing. He's known for hitting a little bit. He hasn't done that much this year, but he has been shooting the puck, hitting a little bit, and giving you a pretty safe floor, so I definitely don't mind adding him in more leagues right now. He's a sneaky option. Then Thomas Novak of the Nashville Predators. If you guys watch my preseason content, you know that I'm in love with Thomas Novak. I have some friends bugging me about that, but Novak, I absolutely love this guy, and he has been very, very good to start the year, and last year he was also very, very good. They're giving him some pretty good deployment over there in Nashville, and he's producing, so I definitely don't mind adding him. Should be owning more than 7% of leagues. That is for sure. Okay, don't look now, guys, but Matias Maccelli is on a 7-game point streak and is somehow only 7% owned. Now, I understand that he's not a guy who puts up a lot of peripherals, but as long as he's putting up points like this, guys, Matias Maccelli needs to be owned in more leagues. He's a very sneaky option right now because not a lot of people are adding him, but he should start to get a little bit more notice now because he's doing very, very well. Calle Jarnkrok of the Toronto Maple Leafs is really an off-night option if you don't have room on the busy nights. He's someone you can be adding because he does play with Matthews and Marner. He's a very, very deep league ad, but I don't absolutely hate it, although he hasn't been that great. Anton Lundell is the guy who I would go for if you need a deep league off-night ad. He is playing on the second line right now with Matthew Tkachuk and has been producing as of late, so definitely someone I do not mind adding if I'm in a deep league and I need those off-night games. Luke Evangelista is getting second line and top power play time in Nashville right now. Doesn't put up a crazy amount of peripherals, but he has been producing as of late, so definitely someone to keep your eye on or add if you're in a super deep league. Nick Cousins is someone I would add if I'm in an insanely deep league. And that means that all the other off-night guys that I've mentioned are already taken and you absolutely need someone for those off nights. Nick Cousins is someone I would throw a dart at. He's playing on the third line right now in Florida, but has been known to score clutch goals for the Panthers. So you never know. Nick Cousins could score a couple of goals in the 4 games that you're going to get from him. Not the worst streamer in the world, but definitely not someone I'm overly high on either. Jumping into defensemen, guys, and this is your last chance to be adding Mike Matheson and Travis Sanheim. I've had these guys on this list for a few weeks now, guys, so if they are still available in your league, please jump on them before it is too late. These guys are playing really, really well and probably have season-long value. Mike Matheson is a guy you would prioritize number 1, but if he's taken and Sanheim's available, he's the next guy that you absolutely need to be adding this week. Then Zach Werenski somehow has gone down in rostership percentage by 2%, which makes no sense. He's got 6 points in his last 7 games. He's doing pretty good, so I don't know why you guys are dropping him. He needs to be added in more leagues. Owen Power's obviously doing great. He's on quite a few game point streak at this point. As long as those points keep coming, he can be added. As soon as the points stop coming, though, he might have to be a drop because his peripherals are non-existent. Braden McNabb is the opposite. The points don't come that frequently, but the peripherals are absolutely fantastic. That's someone that is the peripheral king at this point. He's putting up blocks, he's putting up shots, he's putting up hits. As long as he keeps doing that, guys, he belongs in your fantasy team. Last chance also at Pavel Mintyukov. I've had this guy on the list ever since he got promoted to the top power play. This was a couple of weeks ago at the very least. He was 3% owned when I personally picked him up in my deep categories league. Pavel Mintyukov should now be added in pretty much all league formats. Outside maybe 8-man leagues, he should still be available. But other than that, every other league format where you're more than 8 people, he needs to be owned. He is getting points left and right. He's putting up hits. He's putting up other peripherals as well. He's someone that I absolutely love this year and needs to be rostered. Ivan Provorov, as long as he stays hot with the assist production that he keeps on giving you, he needs to be owned. Now, once those assists dry up, he can be a drop, but for now, he's doing great. Caden Gooley of the Montreal Canadiens, someone who is also really great for those peripherals. He's putting up hits, he's putting up shots, he's putting up blocks. As long as he is, he's got a really safe floor and belongs in more than 10% of rosters. Alexandre Carrier, 2% rostered, is blocks king this year. He's been blocking a hell of a lot of shots, putting up some other peripherals as well, but mostly it's those blocks. So if you need those blocks in a categories league, or if you're in a league that gives a lot of points to blocks, Carrier is a great option right now. And then finally, I have Nico Mikkola. For those of you in really deep leagues, he's been playing really, really well, putting up some pretty good peripherals. And over his last 3 games, he's got a 3-game point streak and assists in all 3 games. Now, I'm not expecting the offensive production to continue, but if you're in a super deep league and you need an off-night defenseman, you could do a lot worse than Nico Mikkola. As far as goalies go, guys, Ville Husso of the Detroit Red Wings is still available in 30% league. So if he's available, he's been doing pretty good this year. And the Detroit Red Wings have been doing pretty good as well. So I don't mind that add. Logan Thompson is a funny one because Logan Thompson has been very, very, very good this year, playing every second game for Vegas. And if he's available in your league, you need to be adding him. Now, I understand that this week Vegas only plays 2 games, so Thompson will only get 1 start. It's not the ideal week to be adding Thompson. He's probably only going to be playing on that Friday game. It's really not ideal. So if maybe you can wait and add him until that Friday game, you can do that. But, guys, Thompson is definitely someone you need to be adding to your team if he's available and you need some goalie help. Stuart Skinner seems to be taking the lead in Edmonton as far as that goalie competition is going, although his last game didn't go so great. So I'd only add him if there's no other better goalies available. At some point, I do think Stuart Skinner is going to figure it out and be a very, very good goalie for Edmonton and carry them to the playoffs. But as of right now, they're doing very, very bad, and they need to figure that out quick. Cam Talbot of the Los Angeles Kings has undeniably, undoubtedly seized that starting position in Los Angeles. He has been great, and he's going to continue to get most of the starts in LA. Love that ad right now. Lucas Distel is the starter right now in Anaheim. Gibson is injured, so he's getting every single game. He's been phenomenal this year. Anaheim's been way better than people have expected this year. So add Distel as long as the Ducks stay hot. Elvis Merzlikins of the Columbus Blue Jackets is the starter over there. If you need a starting goalie, he's not my favorite in the world, but he's definitely one that's going to be getting the starts. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or as I like to call him, 6K, has been getting the starts in Buffalo. Obviously, Levi is healthy now. So that probably does mean that Levi will see a good bulk of the starts. But UPL, 6K has played so freaking well while Levi was gone that it's going to be hard for them to take away UPL starts altogether. I think he's probably earned himself at least a timeshare. So if you do have UPL, I wouldn't be dropping him right away if you're in a deep league because he could still see half the starts in Buffalo. Then Semyon Varlamov, and I know I had him on my drops video last week, guys, and he is just a backup. But as of right now, guys, I am not crazy. I have seen that his last 2 starts have been shutouts. So he maybe has earned himself a little bit more playing time in the short term. Do I think that it's really going to dig into Sorokin's playing time long term? No. Sorokin is their guy. He's going to get the majority of the starts in New York. But as of right now, Varlamov may have earned himself an extra start next week. Samuel Montembeault of the Montreal Canadiens, 10% rostered, is splitting the games pretty evenly with Jake Allen at this point. I could have put either Allen or Montembeault here. Either way, you're getting half the games in Montreal, and Montreal has been better than expected, so if you do need a goalie, he's not the worst option. And then Samuel Ersson. And then I have in brackets or Cal Peterson because Ersson has been terrible to start the year. In my points league, he's been negative in all 3 games he's been a part of this year. Yeah, he's been that bad. But Carter Hart is injured and Ersson is the backup. Now, because he's been so bad, he is playing also on the night that I'm recording this. So if he plays poorly, I would say that Cal Peterson is probably your guy that you want to be adding if you're in a deep league and you need a starting goalie. But if he does play well, Ersson is probably going to be the guy going forward as the starter in Philadelphia until Carter Hart gets better. I don't know how long his injury is going to be. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But as of right now, Ersson is your guy. If he fails on Friday night, it'll be Cal Peterson. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed the content today, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tip.